Hey, everybody. Guess what just landed in my, well, on my desk, I guess, in my inbox, I guess. Today, the Moto G5 Plus. Yeah, this was announced at Mobile Congress. I didn't really get a chance to play with it much back then. But here's what's cool about it. It's really affordable, less than $250 depending on configuration. You get the same sensor and lens as the Galaxy S7 for the camera. Get a Snapdragon 625 in there, so should be a pretty decent phone for the money. So, I mean, again, this is just an unboxing. I need to play with it a little bit, but I just wanted to point it out to you so that you knew what was in the box. The successor to the Moto G4 Plus. Last year was a pretty awesome phone. The G3 before it, the G2, the G1. Well, it was just called the G. And the number is really referencing the generation. So here's the box. As you can see here, there's a bunch of stuff on the back. La la la. Lots of stuff in the bottom. I like this cool little pattern here. Oh, this is where all the information is. Listen to that. All right, so let's not delay and get this opened up. Dun, dun, dun. There it is. It's gold. Nice. I like kind of outlandish looking phones, so there it is. And this is a smaller phone than last year's. This is a 5.2-inch device rather than a 5.5-inch device. It's a little more compact. Ooh, metal back cover. Very nice. So let's look at what's in the box before we get to the phone. There's a little partition here, nothing in here. Hello, Moto. Charger. This looks like a turbo power. Look at that. Turbo power charger. It's in a plastic wrap I'm not going to remove because I probably won't use it. I have a turbo power charger that I can use. And so one of the disappointments, is that it's just micro USB, as you can see here. But you know what? I mean, for an entry, well, not entry level, but really a mid-range, like really affordable phone, that's fine. I wish they had more USB-C phones in this price range, to be honest with you. So there it is. And then there's, of course, a little toothpick. Oh, sorry, no. I mean, I actually love the Moto one. It's really cool. I use a safety pin, frankly, but check out how cool this Moto branded toothpick. I have no spatial positioning when I try to do this through the camera screen. There you go. This is actually the SIM removal tool. I call it a toothpick because that's how I roll. Some paperwork that we'll never ever read. Let's quickly look at it. Read me, Moto G5 Plus. Ooh, nice color illustrations. Very cool. So I guess some devices have 2 SIM cards on this unit. I don't think this particular one does, but I could be wrong. And I guess it continues on the other side. What's this? That's the same thing in Spanish. So there you go. And then, the usual safety, regulatory, blah, 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 blah. All right, who cares about this? Let's have a look at this phone, shall we? So as I said, Snapdragon 625, which is one of Qualcomm's best chips in the sense that it's almost as good for most everyday use as a Snapdragon like 810 from the year before last. And then it has 4 gigs or 2 gigs of RAM, depending on which model you want. There's a cheaper, slightly cheaper, I think it's less than $200 model that's 2 gigs with 32 gigs of storage, and this one is 4 gigs with 64 gigs storage, which for that, whatever it is, I think $229 or $239, a pretty awesome price. Now let me see from the box here what model I got. I got a 64 gig with 4 gigs of RAM here, so probably why it's gold and blingy. And as I said, the camera in the back is the same camera as the Galaxy S7. That means it's an f-stop of 1.7, which is really, really fast, which means it should take some pretty awesome photos. Large pixels and dual pixels, meaning that you have very fast autofocus. You can see a dual LED, dual color flash right here. And the nice little Moto logo that's embossed. It's in 3D. Now, it doesn't have OIS like the Galaxy S7. At this price point, you'd expect that. But from the reviews I've read, because some people have had this phone for a little longer than me, it seems that the camera doesn't quite live up to the hype. It might even be not quite as good as last year's G4 Plus, which I'm not sure, because you know what? Honestly, it's hard to beat the sensor and lens combo. So I'll be the judge of that. You can't really see it, but I'm noticing that there is some other sensors on each side here. Very faintly, you might be able to see them. Maybe laser autofocus or something. I'm not sure. Secondary mic clearly up here. So 4 or 2 gigs of RAM, 64, 32 gigs of storage, and of course the Snapdragon 625, which is kind of like the meat of this thing. 5.2 inch 1080p display. That's what you'd expect in this price range, and honestly just perfectly sufficient. I hear from all the reviews and from my time at Mobile Congress, for the brief time I handled that phone, that the display is spectacular. And I do remember it looking really, really good. So I know what you guys are all waiting for. You're all waiting for me to peel this, because I know you love the sound of it. Can't remember the specs on that front-facing camera, probably 5 or 8 megapixels. Earpiece. This looks like maybe a notification LED or a proximity sensor or both. The fingerprint reader is a little bit bigger than last year's Moto G4 Plus fingerprint reader. Also bigger than the Moto Z fingerprint readers. I personally didn't have any issues with them, but a lot of people found them too small, and I personally don't care. Apparently you can also control the back and recent apps through gestures and stuff. Like, it's all gimmicky, I don't care. I think they made a big fuss about it, but I'll never use it. So on the sides, volume rocker here, power lock key, of course. This is the right hand side of the phone. On the top here you have the SIM and micro SD card slot right there. I suppose it's for dual SIMs on the models that have dual SIMs. Then there's nothing on the left-hand side, and then on the bottom, as I already pointed out, micro USB, sadly, primary mic, and yes, a headphone jack, just like the Moto Z Play, and of course the G4 last year, G4 Plus. So, you know, good thing they didn't remove that. Now the cover here is metal, as I pointed out already, embossed and nice, and it's not removable, but all of the edge of the phone is plastic, so kind of dual tone gold, because you can see it doesn't quite match the color. Plastic versus metal. I'm disappointed that the whole thing isn't metal, but at this price point, you know, I'm willing to let it slide. I mean, the ZT Blade V8 Pro I reviewed for Chip Chick recently had a full metal frame around the back, but a plastic cover in the back. So, you know, this is the reverse of that. Anyway, let's peel this thing. You ready? You ready? If I can actually catch the edge, because I cut my nails. No, I'm not catching the edge. So let's see if I can. This might be difficult. I might not be able to remove this thing. So I'll let you know. Oh, we have got the neighbors making noise here. Okay, here we go. You ready? Oh, you liked that sound, didn't you? There it is. This beautiful 5.2 inch display. I'm not sure if it's AMOLED or IPS. I think IPS, but I'll have to, seriously, neighbors? I'll have to read up on the specs on this. It looks really brilliant right now. It's kind of overwhelming, the camera. But I'm turning it on just so you can have a look, because, you know, all unboxings wouldn't be complete without turning on the phone and watching what that logo is going to give us. Good viewing angles on this. Yeah, very nice display so far.
Hello, Moto.
Ooh, that was kind of cool. Whoa, look at these colors, guys. Whew. That is a nice freaking screen for this money. And judging from the blacks, this might be AMOLED, guys. Holy crap, it's a good screen. Anyway, here you go. Welcome, Moto. So, there you have it. I mean, I'm not going to set it up here. You know that. I'm just going to review at some point. If I get around to it, you know, I always do the unboxing and then I kind of forget to do the reviews because, you know, I got other things that I do. I run a consulting business. I write reviews for Chip Chick. If you haven't today gone to Chip Chick yet, go check out my G6 review. The LG G6, which I'm going to pull out of my pocket, is a phenomenal phone. There it is in all of its glory, and I don't know why, but there it is. Oh yeah. It's a white one too, so go check it out. G6 review, chipchick.com. That's chip like a microchip and chick like a little cute chicken baby.com. And that's it. We've unboxed the Moto G5 Plus. And here's all the loot. I know you can't wait to see more loot, so there you go. Stay tuned for more unboxings, more reviews. I'm going to try to do a G6 review later this week on this channel live. So stay tuned for that. Like if you like it. Don't dislike if you don't like it. Nah, you do it whatever you want. I don't care. And subscribe. By all means, please subscribe. Tell people to subscribe if they like my craziness and all the phones I get my hands on. Do it. All right, guys. I'm going to sign out. Stay tuned for more. And again, go read my G6 review on ChipChick and stay tuned for an actual video, live video review of the G6 later this week. Subscribe, thumbs up, all that good stuff. Follow me on Twitter. I'm at Tankgirl without the vowels. That's TNKGRL. At little at symbol TNKGRL. Cheers. Bye, guys.